this while. Don't leave me alone. Call all angels. Call all angels. We're trying, we're hoping, but we're not sure how.
Is a very, very special person who is dear to my heart, and she's just a lovely, lovely soul. She carries the energy of Archangel Michael, and she lives a life of dedication and spirituality. She is an author, a teacher, and a channel. Arielle Faith Michael.
How are you guys doing? My talk is A Path of Dual Realities. And what I wanted to do is because some of you just know me from here and you don't really know what my day job is. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about both sides of me. And I've divided that into my human life and my spiritual life. So let's do the human life part. I work in a small rural hospital in Hawaii. And as with any small organization, you have to wear many hats. So I wear many hats just like everybody else, and I'm the Service Excellence and Holistic Team Leader. I'm the Ombudsman for the staff. I'm also the Patient Advocate. I also chair the Patient Experience Committee. I've been a Reiki Master and instructor for over 30 years. I am also a Level 3 Healing Touch Facilitator. In addition to the energy work that we have up here, I also administer aromatherapy, crystal healing, and guided imagery to inpatients, outpatients, and the staff. I'm the spiritual leader of the hospital. I also oversee the chaplaincy program. This past June, I was one of 40 people selected by the Vienna World Health Organization Scientific Committee to talk at Yale University. I have co-authored several articles on our hospital's best holistic practices for medical journals in Japan, Sweden, and Switzerland. I've done radio interviews and also given live webinars. Transformation. The dictionary defines that word as a thorough and dramatic change or in form or appearance. And one thing I have a natural talent for is transforming a cold, mundane clinical room into a warm, healing environment. I call it spiritual renovating, and the staff calls it magic. It started when I overhauled my own office. I wanted something that was very warm and just inviting that the staff could come to, where they can come for like counseling, healing sessions, or just even to relax. And the transformation was amazing. It wasn't long before other departments were coming to me and asking my help to help them transform their rooms. And so I've done 5, but 3 of these are the ones that I'm most proud of. So, the grieving room. I know, it needs help. When a person passed away in the emergency department, the family was brought to this room to grieve in private and also to meet with a social worker. And as you can see, it's pretty sad, you know. And they came to me for help. And I said, okay. And what I did was I utilized them things that I found in storage. I'm really good at that. And in 2 weeks, I was able to transform the room at no cost to the department and no cost to the hospital. So it went from this to this. Now, so the room was officially blessed, and we renamed it Kukui, which in Hawaiian means light. Yes. So this is the OR sleep room. And so for over a decade, it really was a storage room with a bed. The employees that had to stay overnight slept here, and they complained, you know, I just can't get a restful night's sleep. And I'm going, do you think? And one staff member swore it was haunted. She said she had a very bad argument with her significant other and retreated to this room to sleep. And she said all of a sudden the spirit appeared in front of her face and yelled at her, "Get out!" Okay, well. So I had the employees help me clear out whatever they didn't need. And of course, I asked Archangel Michael to talk to the spirit and set some ground rules. And so this was the end result. Yeah. So the staff and the spirit sleep very well together. So this is the emergency department sleep room. Now the physicians wanted in on the transformation action. This is where they slept. And as you can see, it's in sad shape. And I asked the doctors for input on their room. And one female doctor said, well, I want mood lighting. And I thought, what is mood lighting? And Archangel Michael whispers, lamps. I go, okay. So this was the final product. Yeah, the physicians were over the moon, mood lighting and all. My book, Faith of Michael, Make It Count, documents my journey as a walk-in. It's a quick and easy read and really packs quite the angelic punch. Everything you want to know about my walk-in experience, my connection to Archangel Michael, and some of the adventures we have shared are in the book. It is available through Amazon, and it comes in paperback or Kindle form, and the proceeds are donated to the Himalayan Cataract Project. My website, The Golden Angel, was recently given a new facelift upon my return from Canada. Thank you, Wendy. Archangel Michael requested this be done to more accurately represent where I am now on my spiritual path, but it was also time to bring forth the higher angelic frequencies that were downloaded to all of us in Lake Louise and Banff. The website is a labor of love from Archangel Michael and I, and we hope that you enjoy it as much as we enjoyed writing it. And stay tuned, there's much more to come. Over the years, like many of you, I've been blessed to visit many sacred sites with the Earthkeeper family. And I've chose just a few places from each location that really touched my soul. In England, of course, it's Stonehenge, climbing up the Tor in Glastonbury, and of course the beautiful waters of the Chalice Well. Scotland, being in Rosslyn Chapel, and just being immersed with all the sacred symbols and codes that you see in the ceilings and in the walls. Ireland was taking that boat ride to Skellig Michael and climbing 618 steps with a sheer drop to the side to the very top, where you come upon a 6th century monastic settlement. It's just beautiful, just so beautiful. In Egypt, it's all about the pyramids. Oh my gosh, for you guys that have been with us and you climb down into those pyramids thinking you'd never be able to climb back out, I hear you. I was hurting for days. Everybody was hurting for days, but it was something we wouldn't have missed for the world. It was wonderful. And then sailing down the Nile River. Greece, it was the Acropolis in Athens, which you could see from our hotel. It was just wonderful. The Temple of Apollo in Delphi, and of course the Holy Grotto of Revelation on the beautiful Greek island of Patmos. Israel is all about touching and praying at the Western Wall, and of course sailing on the Sea of Galilee. Jordan, the ancient city of Petra, and swimming in the Dead Sea, or as what Tib calls the Living Sea. And of course my favorite, Banff, Canada, the Michael Vortex, and the Ladies of the Lakes, Emerald Lake, Lake Moraine, and Lake Louise. And again, like many of you, next year we'll be in Machu Picchu and Lake Titicaca, wonderful Peru. Okay, now for my other side, my spiritual life. I am an angelic walk-in, and that is a soul that has exchanged places with another soul that was already existing in this body. That happened during a near-death experience at the age of 33. And such an exchange is only possible by mutual agreement between me and the other soul that exited. And as you know, I work directly with Archangel Michael. For me personally, I have spent time on other star systems, Sirius and Arcturus, and I believe that's why I'm being called to go to Peru. Okay, a picture says 1,000 words. This picture was taken 10 years ago at Mauna Kea Beach with a very simple 35 millimeter point and shoot camera, and the sun had already gone down. I was deep in conversation with Archangel Michael and the Creator when the photographer took this picture of me and his girlfriend. When the film was developed, all the photographs were normal except for this one. This is how I see Archangel Michael with my eyes wide open. A brilliant cobalt blue with pure white light. But when my eyes are closed, he takes on a human form. He is extremely tall, 15 to 20 feet. He has a great sense of humor. He's saying thank you. He has a great sense of humor. He is intelligent, caring, and courageous. He loves engaging in meaningful conversation, so that's a good thing. Archangel Michael also has a serious, no-nonsense side, depending on the subject matter and the audience he is addressing. So when I speak about dual realities, I'm referring to the two worlds I walk in simultaneously. So this picture best represents my having a foot in both realms, heaven and earth. Many have asked more detail on my connection to Archangel Michael and how it all began. So what I'm about to share with you is how Archangel Michael explained it to me. And my truth may differ from yours, and that is totally okay. Everyone is unique. So take what resonates and just leave the rest. Coming down to human form with my angelic memories intact, it was important for me to understand what Archangel Michael calls the rules of engagement as I walk both sides of the divide, heaven and earth. My human path and angelic commitment are best defined by two words, contracts and covenants. Rule number 1, earth-plane contracts by their very nature are meant for mankind. Humanity has the freedom to choose a course of action or inaction. Agreements can be kept, altered, postponed, completely abandoned. Every action or inaction comes with consequences, so it is important to choose that which you can live with. Free will gives the human race a lot of wiggle room to experiment. This is not the case with Archangel covenants. Rule number 2, an Archangel covenant is an unbreakable and unchangeable oath that eternally bonds light that has gone through the metamorphosis of individualized consciousness. What does that mean? It's being divided into divine masculine and divine feminine, and this is only possible by decree from the Creator. The oath is taken by angelic rays that are identical in origin, sound, frequency, lineage, but most importantly, their mission. This covenant hardwires the two rays of light to each other. So when all is done, and I mean all as in the big picture all, the two return to one. Archangel Michael and I took such an oath eons ago. We are married to the mission and in it for the long haul. And believe me, being on Earth, here on Earth, it feels like the long haul. I keep saying, gosh, did I sign up for this? He goes, yes, we did. So this is the simplest explanation I can give on the topic. I'm told that the remaining details are deeply sacred and extremely complicated, and those are kept within the very core of the Creator. Perspectives and perceptions. Human perceptions differ from angelic perspectives. You know, being in a physical vessel, we all have just limited access to the bigger picture. Archangel Michael, on the other hand, has access to the whole enchilada. He really does. He does not share everything. So for me, it's frustrating being on a need-to-know basis, because I know what I know, but like everybody else, it's all about divine timing. But fortunately, Archangel Michael has unending patience, profound truths. This was a hard one for me, a very hard lesson. And we've all had those encounters of the spiritual kind, you know, what we call aha moments, epiphanies, divine events in time that just fills your soul with so much bliss, you just gotta tell it to somebody or you're just going to burst. So, you get brave. And you confide your most sacred truth with someone that you feel is safe. Someone that would understand, accept, support, honor, and confirm what you know to be true. But something went terribly wrong. The truth was turned against you by the very person you trusted. Nothing cuts so deep than the perception that you have been spiritually betrayed by a family member, friend, significant other, even a spiritual teacher. Feelings of disbelief, anger, shame, self-doubt, and unworthiness weighs heavy on the heart, and the body just starts shutting down because it does not want to feel it. What happens next is determined by two factors: how deep the cut and what you believe is true. Some can power through it, others just get overwhelmed and consumed by it. So how do we move through such events? Better yet, how do we prevent them from affecting us so deeply? So here's what I've learned from Archangel Michael regarding profound truths. Use discernment in whom you share them with. Even the most so-called enlightened people are human and may find it hard to accept a truth more profound than their own. They too struggle with ego self-talk, which may sound like this: there is no room at the top for both of us. I have to give up something which is rightfully mine so that you can have. How come that happened to you and not to me? Realize that their actions and words are a reflection of their own personal struggles, and many have carried this lesson from lifetime to lifetime, trying to learn from it so it no longer repeats itself. But the human ego is very convincing, and it will fight to maintain control. So stay within your own truth, and do not let your own self-talk of being smaller than knock you off balance. Heavenly job titles. When you're new to the spiritual path, it's easy to get caught up in the labels, and I'm talking about the heavenly job titles such as archangels, avatars, masters, seraphim, virtues, dominions, and so on down the order. Archangel Michael points out these are simply labels to define the duties assigned each being of light in the angelic order. Legend says that we are connected to the 12 rays of light from the Creator, and each ray has its own color, purpose, angelic overseer, and master guide. Now, some believed that if you were from a certain ray, you also inherited the job title of the master and overseer that was assigned to it. But whatever you are led to believe as your truth, there is a divine purpose. It is not so much what your truth is, but what you do with it. That is what defines you. That is what others will remember you by. Okay, here's a mantra that I always say as I'm heading out the door. Shields up, sword at the ready. And when I'm saying that, I'm asking Michael, the Creator, to just bring their light in to shield me, mostly from myself, my human self, and also my sword of truth, like Michael's. Because the real battle is not on the outside so much as it is within. It's keeping in check, like I said about the self-talk, guiding our choices and our actions, and it goes back to that rule number 1 that we talked about earlier. So consider the source, you. Is your decision based on blind animal instinct, or is it coming from a higher point of observation? Is your decision the hill to die on? I always ask myself that before I make a decision. I go, okay, is this the hill to die on? No. And then I move on. It's real easy. Can you live with the consequences of your actions? But more importantly, can you live with yourself? I have learned from Archangel Michael all these beautiful truths. And in my book, Make It Count, I talked about a divine dispensation that was gifted to me by the Creator for accepting the walk-in mission. I really wheeled and dealed for that one. And this gift allowed me to return home to the higher realms whenever I wanted. But there was one catch. I had to come back to Earth. So whenever I feel depleted, I just go home with Archangel Michael, get my batteries rejuvenated, and then plop back down here. And believe me, it's really hard to come back here from being up there. But it's the mission we took on. As I was preparing for Banff, Canada, with Earthkeeper family this past September, Archangel Michael said he had a surprise waiting for me, and it was quite the surprise. So this is Banff, Canada, and this place has been on the top of my bucket list since I can remember. When I just love this place. And when our tour bus entered the Michael Vortex, I could just feel my energy field just heighten exponentially. I remembered being here with Archangel Michael. All the forests, the glaciers, everything. Except that when I was with him, everything was in etheric form. So arriving at Chateau Lake Louise, it was like coming home after years of spiritual deployment. Ugh. Of all the places I have journeyed with Earthkeeper, this was home. I just knew it in my core. So Archangel Michael said that he promised me that we're going to move there. And so I'm going to hold him to his promise. I want to end with a closing message from Archangel Michael. When all hope seems lost, the champion appears in whatever form is perfect for the mission. In a world of dual realities, despair has a way of taking up residence within you. As uncomfortable as it feels, there is a divine purpose to its presence. Once you have acknowledged and learned the lesson it brings, bless it as you send it to the angelic realm to be transmuted into light once more. Let your faith lead the way back home. Home, that sense of place, that sacred space within your heart where love resides. Call on me when you feel you can't go on. I and the legions of light will stand beside you. Together, we shall face whatever comes our way. Together, we shall prevail. Be brave, have faith, and refuse to be bound by fear. Remember, when all hope seems lost, the champion appears, and sometimes that champion is you. From Archangel Michael's heart to yours, may you be blessed. Thank you.